Hi, I'm Tom Nelson, and I'd like to talk to you a little bit about the drumming grip and the fulcrum. Those are two very important parts of playing drums. In fact, probably that's where drumming starts. If you don't have those two things working for you, you can't do a whole lot else with your drumming. And so we need to start there. A few things about drumstick grip. And I say this because I watch a lot of drummers play, seen a lot of drummers play, and everybody has their own little take on how they play and how they hold their sticks and where they have their fulcrum. And quite honestly, all of it can be correct, because at the end of the day, if it works for you, if it's working for you and fits these conditions that I have listed and that I'll talk about, then that's your grip and it's working for you, and go with it. And I don't have a problem with that, and I don't think anyone else should. I don't know that there is one exact specific grip or fulcrum placement that is the only one. There are several of each, and you have to decide what works for you and what allows you to be the best that you can be. And don't get frustrated by those who may challenge you on how you play. Again, though, what I will say that all the grips and fulcrum points have in common are these four things here, so let me talk about them a little bit, and then I'll talk about grip and fulcrum and the many interpretations of that. Most importantly, your stick grip needs to be relaxed, and then I say safe. Why is that? Well, tension is the worst enemy of the drummer. When you become tense, you disable your ability to play fast, smooth, and clean, and you also set yourself up for injury, and that's why I put the word safe here. We hear about carpal tunnel, we hear about wrist injuries, we hear about tennis elbow, shoulder injuries. All these things can come out of drumming if you're not practicing with a drum grip that is relaxed and therefore safe. And I think any of the great teachers that you study with or read about or see on YouTube will say the same thing. Playing drums needs to be natural and relaxed. The stick in your hand has to be held very loose and relaxed, so if somebody came by and tried to take it out of your hand, they could. If you're holding it tight and they can't take it out of your hand, tight means tension, and you're going to have possibly problems with that. So I encourage you to consider that about your grip, being relaxed, being safe. A couple of ways you can figure out if you're relaxed, and I wrote this as number 2, is the space above the thumb. Depending on how you hold the sticks, but most grips, when you're holding the stick and you're relaxed, you're going to have a space right here above your thumb to your pointer finger. Best way to think of it is like this. If you were to take the stick out of your hand, roll your thumb up and down, almost like a mouth speaking, you want that space there. That's a sign of a relaxed grip. When you close that grip, when you close it, look what happens down here in my arm. You're going to see this move. It's tense because I closed that. When I close that, I'm applying pressure on the stick, and that pressure causes tension down through here. That could be a problem for you. So that's one way to look at it. Another way, a lot of great teachers talk about holding a bird. Imagine if you caught a small bird in your garage, let's say, and you had it in your hand. Well, you wouldn't want to hold it tight, would you? Because if you held it too tight, you could strangle it or probably break bones in it and injure the animal. But you wouldn't want to hold it too loose, because its wings would flutter and it would fly away on you if you wanted to keep it in your hand. So you would hold that bird carefully with a firm grip, but yet a loose grip. And that's another way to look at holding the stick, holding that bird without letting go of it. A lot of teachers use that. Next thing on your drumming grip to look at and make sure you have is finger to stick contact. Most grips have that all intact like that. The fingers are not hanging out here off the stick. Generally, all the grips that are out there are going to have fingers on the stick. Now, there are times when your fingers will come off the stick. That's okay. And you see a lot of guys who have pinkies that fly off. A lot of drummers will say, oh, that's a bad sign, your pinky shouldn't fly. Well, it shouldn't, but it will. And as you're practicing and learning and growing, that will happen sometimes, and you just have to kind of work on that. And depending on where the stick is in your hand, deal with that, but trying to keep all the fingers within close contact of the stick is important for a good grip. Finally, the last thing is musical. Are you able to be musically expressive in whatever it is you're doing musically? If you're playing in a very loud metal band and you're playing very hard and you're holding the sticks pretty tight, as long as you're relaxed and you have some of these other things in place and you're able to play loud and you're not getting hurt and you're being musical with it, then that's okay. Your grip's working for you. If not, if you're hurting yourself, then consider some of these other things so that you can fix your grip and make for a better grip. So those are my thoughts on drumming grip. Furthermore, I'll just show you the grips here next and for you to consider.